like to welcome y'all to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast. It's your boy Dee Dot, joined by my good friend 16 Sound Beats. What's good, man?
Yeah, good man. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me on. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of your stuff for a long time now. So yeah, it's good to catch up with you finally on here now.
Oh man, same man. First and foremost, I appreciate that, and same. I've been kind of watching you for it's probably been maybe about a year or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, since we've been kind of going back and forth and just seeing what you guys doing over there. You're in London, right?
Now I'm in a town called Stevenage. It's about 50 miles from London.
Okay.
I'm from a county called Hertfordshire, so it borders London. So it's not far. It's about 50 miles from North London.
Okay.
Yeah, nice and easy to get to.
Man, I always wanted to go out there, and I met this guy who actually used to work with me here, and he tells me all about the music scene. He's not an artist or producer or anything, but we just talk a little bit about music in overseas in Europe, London, all over. And one of the things I just admired, you kind of have your own music culture down there, but it's still, in some ways, just a variation of what we do here. And I think that you guys appreciate the art of hip hop a little more than we kind of do here, in a lot of ways. So what I wanted to start off with, man, tell me really about how you got into music production.
Well, the thing you're gonna laugh at it. You might laugh at this. When I was about 16, I started making beats on my PlayStation, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I was using MTV Music Generator.
I was just
at 16 years old.
Yeah.
And I was making beats off that. I was making little block beats off that. Obviously, nothing come out of it. But so my PlayStation One, my grey little PlayStation One, I was making beats off that for a while. Didn't show anyone it. But I was connecting my keyboard. I still got the keyboard here, the Yamaha. I was connecting that to it. Had a little sampler on there, but you couldn't really do too much on there. It was very limited piece of software on your PlayStation. So I started on that, and then I was downloading the light versions of Fruity Loops. I used to call it Fruity Loops here. It's called FL now, FL Studio everywhere. I was downloading the light versions of that, playing around with that. Not really very serious. Cubase, done a bit on Cubase again. Nothing too serious really. And to be honest with you, I've only been doing it for a few years now. Really properly, seriously. Lockdown, over here in lockdown when we had COVID, I was using MPC Beats, and I was using the MPD 218 on that. The square pad with the 16 pads on there.
Yeah.
I was using that. And then something went wrong with the software on there, on my Mac. So then I got the MPC. I got the MPC. No, actually, before that, I had the MPK Mini with the MPC software. I was making some good beats with that. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I was using that. And then I got the MPC One. And ever since then, that's it. It's taken off from there. I've become obsessed with this thing. I do about 2 or 3 beats a day on there.
Okay.
So I've been making beats on there ever since.
Man, it's kind of ironic you say, you started off using that MTV Music Generator.
Yeah.
I had another guest that actually said the same thing. They started off using the MTV Music Generator. And, I remember those times. I never had a PlayStation. Around that time, I was actually on the Nintendo 64. But around that same time, I was using a loop program called Magic Music Studio. And
I've used that as well. I used that on my old laptop.
Man.
Yeah, that's one I've used as well.
And it was kind of like the introduction into, from there I went to like Reason, and then I went to Logic, and I even had one of the older MPC models, the MPC 2000 XL at one time. And then it was probably about, kind of like you talk about, you started making beats during the pandemic, but like that's when I actually got the MPC One at the beginning of COVID, because I was in here locked down as well, and I was kind of working out of the house as well. So in here, I would be in here what 8, 9 hours a day, just some days, man, not having nothing to do. So when I finally got my MPC, I spent the day just locking in and learning the MPC One, very similar to how I used the MPC 2000 Excel. So, that's one of the reasons. And like ever since then, just like you mentioned, it's for me, it's a lot easier to sample. I just plug my phone up or pull up YouTube, Apple Music, wherever, and I may sample something directly into the MPC and just get going. Is it really just been kind of like 2 or 3 years, or has it been like a little bit longer than that? I know you mentioned MPC Music Generator, but
yeah, like I said, I was messing around with FL Studio for a bit, but again, nothing. I weren't really making proper songs on there. I was just messing around, and same with Cubase. And to be honest with you, with Cubase, I just couldn't. I didn't have the patience to learn the software properly. But with MPC, I don't know what it is about MPC. Just with this thing here, I've learned it so quick. I'm still learning it. I'm still picking things up now. But
now, mainly, do you use it just standalone by itself, or
I use it standalone. Mainly use it standalone. Sometimes I like to use the monitor here with the software so I can see everything. But I mainly use it standalone, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same. I would probably say I'm about 70% of the time standalone. And lately I've been kind of making myself learn the software a little bit better, because I feel like, after using the hardware for about a year, well, actually, no, about 2-3 years almost, it was kind of time to learn the software, especially like between the two. Now they have those new updates too. So I've been kind of digging into that. Who were some of your inspirations as far as, becoming a beat maker?
Well, as a youngster, because I've always been interested in music production as a teenager. So whenever I bought a new CD, I'll go straight to the credits and I'll look at who produced every track. And that's I don't know why, but I've always been interested in who's produced everything. But back then it was Timbaland. You had Just Blaze. You had DJ Premier. You had The Alchemist, Jay Dilla. Ninth Wonder. All them. Even Havoc from Mobb Deep. He was producing a lot back then as well. High Tech. He done some good stuff. There's many. Pete Rock as well. Pete Rock, I like Pete Rock as well. He's smooth as well. But really, back then, Kanye West in 2003 when he come on, he come about. He burst on the scene as well. But in terms of who inspired me back then, who really got me, Kanye West style, Ninth Wonder. I love their style. It's their soulful style. I don't know if you hear my stuff is more. I like the soulful samples. So it's more sort of like they inspire me more, especially these days. Ninth Wonder's probably my favorite. Probably my favorite producer, Ninth Wonder.
Man. You said a lot that I could definitely relate to. When I bought my first MPC around 2006, maybe 2007-ish, had the MPC 2000. And one of the reasons I bought the MPC was because of Jay Dilla. Just around, and I think he died, 06, I think.
06, he died 06.
06. And, even before that, I was listening to like Donuts, Welcome to Detroit, and then a lot of the other cats that he was producing around that time. And then you mentioned also Alchemist. Alchemist was also one of my influences, because I remember I went on YouTube. I still hang on YouTube a lot, obviously, but like even before I started a channel, I used to just look up, just like you mentioned, looking up credits. I used to look up beat making videos from a lot of the guys you actually mentioned, and studying their styles and kind of starting to listen to samples and noticing how they chop a certain sample. And even to this day, I may like one of the things I like to do is when I sit down in a lab, kind of like I was saying earlier, I may plug the phone up to the MPC and then find something soulful on Apple Music. And I got that feature that you can listen to on Apple Music where it kind of recommends similar artists to whatever you're listening to. Like it's almost kind of like a playlist. And I may discover songs that, oh, I heard Alchemist produce this, or I heard Jay Dilla, I heard Night Wonder, or Just Blaze, and so on and so forth. And it's just kind of amazing that them guys, when they talk about crate digging, they really, find some gems in a lot of the records that they dig for. How old are you, if you don't mind me
I'm
asking?
36.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Not that much younger. I'm not that much older than you. I'm 40. So yeah, we kind of come from the same era as well, in terms of music. What I noticed, like, I actually listened to the two singles. So Fun by Vincenzo is his name. And then Chef Hall Boy, also listened to that as well.
Boy. Yeah.
And what was like whenever y'all built with this artist, was it something that you had already made, or did like you and him sit down in the lab and he tell you, hey, this is what I want, and you kind of just made it from there?
Well, Shepherd Boy was produced by another producer. But Fun, we actually, he was in here when I did that. He was in this studio here. Back, and we produced that back in February.
Wow.
So we produced that back in February. He's got his own folder in the MPC. He's got about 6 or 7 tracks in there already that are ready to go.
Okay.
So we've built up quite a few tracks already that he's going to be using. But yeah, some of the fun track, he was here. And originally, I don't know, he was in here. He was in here when we done that. I made that in here when he was here. He was sitting here when I made that. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's the it's good to do instrumentals both ways, because I like to make a lot of stuff on my own, no doubt, like just in the lab by myself. But then also I like to, if a certain artist comes in and tells me they want a certain sound, sometimes we may sit in the lab for a couple of hours until we come up with something. And there's nothing like building that chemistry with an artist. How important do you think it is to build chemistry with an artist in order to be successful?
Well, the thing is, me and Vincenzo have grown up with each other. We know each other since 11 years old.
Okay. So, wow.
We know each other very well. We've grew up as kids in the same neighborhood.
Wow. And
to be honest, we actually used to muck around with keyboards and drum machines back when we were 11. Because I had a keyboard, he had a drum machine, and we used to do music then, obviously not knowing what we was doing. But we've always liked music, and we work pretty well, because I know his sound. I like to think I know what he likes,
Yeah.
Sometimes I've got beats on there that he'll listen to, and if he likes them, he'll take them. If he don't, So I have that little process as well of just playing stuff for him, and he'll either say no, or he'll say, yeah, I like that, keep that for me for another time.
Yeah.
But I do like making the beats while the artist is here as well. I prefer that, actually.
Yeah. That's I've done that quite a few times with a couple of different artists, and I feel like when you do that, like, I don't know, it's just like the sound comes out, or the creativity comes out better yet, much more organic when you can sit down and, just like yourself, there's certain artists, okay, I know like one artist may like that old school hip hop sound versus I may work with another artist that kind of likes more of a trap sound. But like, I just what I always like is being versatile, going back and forth. Sure, I got my own style, but I'm also able, to, because I used to before, like, believe it or not, a lot of the videos you probably see, I'm making more of that boom bap, that old school hip hop. But like before that, I would say probably going back to probably about 2010, maybe around that time, for about a couple of years, I had made a lot of trap beats. So a lot of guys, a lot of artists that I work with still, they kind of know me for that. But I've kind of, changed a little bit over that time. I've always had more of a passion for like that old school hip hop sound.
Yeah, the boom
kind of
bap.
like those influences that we were talking about earlier. What do you have on deck as far as like, is Vincenzo the only artist you're working with, or are you working with other artists right now?
I only work with Vincenzo at the minute.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the main artist I work with. So we're just concentrating on all his stuff at the minute. He's got a proper release in December. He's got a next release in December, around that sort of time. But we've also done a track for a mixed martial artist. He's going to be walking out with him on Saturday in Colchester, in Essex, in UK. We've done a track for him, so Vinny's going to be walking out with him with the track. Wow. I produced the track, so it's going to be interesting hearing it in the arena.
You going to be there?
Yeah, I'm going to be there as well.
Okay, all right, man. You definitely got to take some video, some shots of that, man.
After Saturday, we'll put the videos out. Yeah, you'll be able to see them.
Yeah, definitely, man. What are you currently listening to? Like, who's some of your favorites as far as current artists?
Do you know what? I'm stuck in my ways. I'm a very stubborn man. I'm still going back to the old school, I'm still going back to 97, 98, 99, 2000, up to 2005, where for me, that was the golden period for me.
Yeah.
I started listening to hip hop in 97. I was about 10, 11 years old. And the first album I listened to properly was Harlem World.
Oh, yeah.
From Mace.
Wow.
And I was hooked. Ever since then. I was listening. And that's when Vinny had Harlem World. And back then I recorded it on cassette.
Wow.
So I jacked that off him. I recorded it. He let me borrow it. He let me borrow the album, and I recorded the whole album on a cassette tape.
Wow.
I used to take it to school, and I used to listen to it on a Walkman. Remember them?
Yeah.
I used to listen to it on that. I was listening to that non-stop. And then I started my collection after that. But that's when I thought Puff Daddy produced tracks properly, because I thought he'd done all the beats. But then I found out he's the hitman. The hitman are the ones. He has a team.
Tony Dofat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then from there, that was it from there. But currently now, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, a little bit of Drake. But I think my favorite is probably in the States anyway. It's probably Kendrick Lamar at present. But I like R&B as well. So Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
I like him. But to be honest with you, if I'm being dead honest with you, I still go back. I still go back to them old records, all them old DMX albums.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, DMX. All the old 50 Cent albums, all them ones. I'm still, I do listen to I do listen a little bit to the new stuff, but the sound's different. The sound's not the same.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
kind of like 97 was a good year. I mean, like I remember around that time I was in high school. I was just getting in high school. And I remember like we used to jam a lot of Mace around that time as well. In fact, was it maybe a month ago, at my job here, you know, I'm staring at this guy. I see this guy come in, all iced out, chain, earrings, bracelets. And I'm just looking at this guy and I'm like, man, this guy looks familiar, man. Like I know this cat. So after a while, I walk up a little closer to him and then I look at his medallion, his chain. And then I see MA with the $ SE.
yeah.
I was like, man, this is Mace. And like I didn't go up and talk to him, but I just, you know, I wanted to just see because he looked so familiar. And then right after he left, there was one of my coworkers that was talking to him and came up to me. It's like, yeah, that was Mace. And I was like, man, you know, it's a small world. You know, just seeing guys that you used to listen to, and you know, he was a long way from home because he's, I think, still in New York. I don't know if he lives somewhere different. I'm based out of Dallas, so just to kind of randomly see him out here, man, kind of blew my mind. Yeah, you never know who's gonna pop up sometimes, but like, you know, kind of going back to what you were saying earlier, I'm still kind of like that. You know, I listen to a lot of old school hip hop. You know, one of those we talked about Mace. I still listen to a little bit of Biggie. In fact, Notorious Big. Who else? Jay-Z around that time. I banged a lot of Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. You know, those are kind of the albums when I kind of get into that writer's block, that beat block. I kind of go back and listen to those old albums, and it kind of pulls me out of beat block. And yeah, and then I mean, talking about current artists, Kendrick is one. I like Currency a lot as well. Yeah,
I
you
like
know,
Currency. I bought his Pilot Talk. Is it called Pilot Talk?
Yeah.
Back in 2010, I went to New York and I bought Pilot Talk, and that's the only place you can get it because I was listening to him. I was listening to him over here, and it didn't. They weren't selling it anywhere in the UK. You couldn't get it.
Wow.
You couldn't get it, and I got it in New York, and I've still got it. Still got the CD. Pilot Talk. Green CD.
Yeah,
I've got it. Yeah. Currency. I forgot about him.
Yeah, he got Pilot Talk 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I think he released 4 kind of on a cool last year, or it might have been the year before. But yeah, Currency is one of, especially he from where I'm from, out in Louisiana. So, you know, extra shout out to Currency, man. And I like a lot of the producers, in fact, that he worked with, Harry Fraud for one, Ski Beats, who did Pilot Talk. And then Ski Beats also worked with Jay-Z in the past as well. So yeah, man, we definitely agree on that. I'm just noticing back there, you know, all the Rocket 5s I see behind you. Are those Rocket 5s behind you? The speakers, KRK.
Yeah, KRK Classics.
Yeah. I still got one that I don't even use it because the other one that I had busted. And after that, I kind of switched to these IK Multimedia iLoud micros, but you know, I like the KRKs as well. We got a lot of similar tastes, man. Like that's why I look at your setup and I'm like, okay, yeah, we think exactly alike, man. So, you know, I definitely like a lot of what you're doing. So, you know, I definitely wanted to say, keep it up, man. And you know, I'm a big admirer of what you're doing. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, I like your stuff. I like your you're always putting the expansion beats on. I think when my first video I see you was the Premiere Beats. You was doing some stuff for the Premiere. And that's one of the first expansion packs I got.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've got the boom back one,
Yeah,
and the raw
yeah,
crates.
yeah.
Yeah, they're good
Ro-
expansion. They're good. They've got some good drums on.
Yeah, very good drums.
Yeah.
Premier Beats, I made some bangers out of like
Mm,
anytime I go in there, I can find something that gives me some
mm,
inspiration just like that.
yeah.
So yeah, out of all of them, let me ask you this: have you checked out the Pad Thai expansion?
I've got which one? The Marco Polo.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's number 2
okay.
or
With
number
it's
1. I
kind of
can't remember
like
now.
a
I've got one of them. I've got one expansion of him. But yeah, his drums is yeah. Yeah, they bang, they bang. Yeah, these
yeah.
kicks bang. Yeah.
I like thing I like about his kits is like you know as to where like some of the boom back and a lot of the raw cuts kits, there are a lot of there are a lot of stabs, there are a lot of like what I like compared to those with the Marco Polo collection is you can kind of go in, chop up the grooves still, and there's a little bit more content that you can kind of work with. They're all dope, don't get me wrong, but I like the Marco Polo
Yeah.
expansions because you can go in
Yeah.
and chop them up a little bit more.
Yeah. I found that with the Dynamic Soul, they had did you ever get the Dynamic Soul expansion, the orange one
No, no,
by Akai?
I have to check that
Yeah,
out.
they've got some so a lot of them you could chop up as well. But so a lot of the strings and the guitars are like one shots on the others. So
Okay,
it's quite, it's you can make stuff on there, but you're quite limited to what you can because they're one shot. You can only really do so much with them. But the Neo Soul pack I'm looking to buy, I haven't got that yet. It looks good. The Neo Soul,
with
Sunset
MS,
Soul, Sunset Soul. That's it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
that sounds good as well.
I got that one actually, and that's one of my favorite ones. I actually need to start making more with it, but I picked it up probably about a month or so ago, maybe a little bit longer. But it was a guy, I can't think of his name, but he actually made another machine expansion called Crate Cuts, which sounds very similar to that. And ever since I've actually used the Crate Cuts pack, there's another YouTuber by the name of Ab McCree. I don't know if you watch some of Ab
Yeah.
McCree. Yeah, but
Mm.
he talked about that the producer that helped sound design both of those sample packs, and pretty much from there, anytime I hear him coming out with something, I'm in all the way, man. What would you say is if you can make beats with just one expansion, your favorite expansion, what would that be?
It's a tough one. Do you know what? I love Premier Beats. I love Premier Beats.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know why. I don't know if it's because it's my first one and I've made so many beats with it, but I've also got another one I like called Soul Provider.
yeah, yeah.
Soul Provider 3. I always go to their kits all the time. I always go to their kit. I've made my own drum kit, but I do like to go between Soul Provider, Dynamic Soul, and Premier Beats. Them three, they're the ones I normally get all my kits from.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Shout out to them at MSX Audio. Because I think I got all three versions of the Soul Provider, and then they have that Soulful Instruments pack that they did too.
yeah,
I like that one because it got a lot of like electric pianos, guitars, bass guitars, a lot of soulful instruments. And then I got some of their machine expansions as well. And then, I know they got a lot of stuff on their website, a lot of loop packs that you can get on their website, chop up as well. So
how do you because I've seen you use machine as well. I've never used machine. I mean, the difference between the MPC One and machine? How would you put them together? How would you compare them both?
um like I think they're very similar in a lot of ways. In terms of like built around expansions. Like Machine, well, they'll have scenes, and then like MPC has sequences. So there was a kind of like similar as far as how they operate in terms of like building your, I guess, your sequence together. And then I think expansion wise, I think price wise, the Machine expansions could be a little bit more in price, as to where like I've seen like MPC, they're probably anywhere from 39. I think the highest I've seen was $69 in terms of kits. But I mean, I think when it comes down to the workflows, they're very similar. I think the MPC One though would probably be more comparable to like the MPC Studio, because or excuse me, I think the MPC One would be more comparable to Machine Studio. Because Machine Studio, you pretty much have all your expansions you could download to to the Machine Studio. Outside of that, I think they're very, very close in as far as workflow. It's just really the thing that got me with the MPC software is just learning more so how to navigate it, because I've been using Machine probably since 2010, 2009 or so. So I know the Machine software, the workflow, I know that pretty well compared to how I know the MPC. And then outside of that, yeah, I can't really say much more. I think they're very comparable workflow wise. The only thing I would like to see though from Native Instruments is I wish they would come out with something in that price range more so to compete with the MPC One, because I don't feel like they have anything in that same range, because you pretty much either have to go from the Machine Micro all the way to the MK3 version or even the Machine Studio, opposed to you can, technically speaking, like you were talking about the MPD earlier, you could technically speaking buy MPD and then get the MPC software, and then you're kind of good to go there. So that would kind of be like the equivalent of Machine Micro, and then having. But the only thing is, Machine Micro would probably be a little less in terms of costs. And then I know, like with Machine, whenever you buy a new device, they give you those 2 expansions for free that you can get. As to where when I got MPC, I think they give you one free.
They give you the factory. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but they give you a generic expansion pack. It's got quite a lot on. Still, they give you a little bit to play with. But for the MPC, for the price, the MPC One for the price is good. Like in England, it works out around £600, 600 sterling. That's quite good price for what you get in that box. And one of the things I do like though, in comparison to like from the MPC series to a lot of the Machine series, is in terms of like boom bap and old school hip hop expansions, you have more of that on the MPC than you do on Machine. Machine still has a wide variety of expansions, because I mean they have some of the raw cuts expansions with there is a Basement Era, which is one of my favorite expansions on Machine. And then let's see, I'm trying to think. There is Cotton Gardens is another good expansion, but that one was actually made by MSX Audio, who did Soul Provider. So if you like a lot of boom bap or old school hip hop, or even those soulful modern type expansions, I think Akai offers a little more than that.
But I mean, there's technically speaking ways around that. You know, if you get like Kit Maker, that software Kit Maker, you can essentially buy a machine expansion and turn that into an MPC expansion at that point. So even if you have like the machine software, you can actually pull up MPC as a VST inside of a machine, and you can make beats that way too. So, or even vice versa, if you wanted to do it that way. So there's kind of your way around that. But I think they're very comparable in terms of just overall workflow. You have you ever used Machine before? Or?
No, I've watched many videos on Machine. I was watching Rhythm Roulette with Havoc.
Yeah.
And I liked the flow on how he was chopping up them samples on there.
Yeah.
Now I thought the way he was chopping up his drums on there, and he was chopping up the samples on there, and it sort of saves the sample what you've chopped in the list.
Yeah.
And I thought I like that. I like the way that you could do that. You've got like a list of all your samples there, where with the MPC One or the MPC, it's a little bit different with that in that respect. But you can still do that. You can still chop them up. You can still find what you want on the sample, but it's a good reference point on the machine where it lists all your chops up there, like on the screen. I like that.
Yeah, and that mentioning that, like that's another reason. Like I use a lot of MPC, but Machine is still kind of believe it or not, it's kind of my primary beat making program of choice, only because like I got about 10, 12 years worth of expansions. And on top of that, the way I have my library set up with all my samples in there, like samples that I made or chopped up versus samples that are expansions that I got from Native Instruments, everything is just already kind of set up in a way where I know where everything is. So that's why, like, even if I'm on the go, if I just open up Machine, I can get going at the drop of a dime, opposed to if it's MPC, I could still make my beat right away, but it may take a little time because I don't quite have it set up like I have it in Machine. So, just kind of knowing the workflow and being able to navigate kind of makes it a little bit better for me. What I want to ask, man, outside of working with Vincenzo, you have any other plans for the rest of the year?
Well, my main job, I'm a personal fitness trainer.
Okay.
So that's what I do. I work face to face with clients, and I also work online with clients as well. So that's my main job. But in terms of the music, we're looking at gigging a lot, going out and doing a lot of gigs. So he's like sort of like touring around a little bit. We're looking at once we got his catalogue of songs up to a point, he's already got. Vincenzo's been rhyming since 2000, so wow. he done about 3 or 4 years. Maybe he started even before that, before 2000, maybe 99.
Yeah.
So he's already done about 3 albums already.
Wow.
Back in his early 20s, late teens. So he's got tracks. But yeah, we're looking to go out and perform those tracks, especially the new ones anyway. The recent releases. We're gonna go out and he's already doing quite a lot now. But we're looking to do more, and obviously he's got his next release is coming out around his next big one's coming out around December.
Okay.
So around Christmas time.
Yeah, you gotta let me know when that drops, man. I would love to hear it. And if you guys wanna come on and talk about it around that time, definitely reach out, man. I'll probably reach out to you, in fact.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
How was the music scene down there?
Oh, in the UK?
Yeah.
So we have hip hop is there, but so in the UK, you did have like boom bap style, American kind of, not American style, but similar. So you had people like Black Twang, you had Kalashnikov. I think you like some of these guys. If you look at some of these guys like Kalashnikov, Black Twang, Roots Maneuver, they're more sort of on the boom bap American sort of sound, but with the English accent.
Yeah.
But UK garage was big back in 1999 till about 2001, and that was the more of the urban music scene in the UK, where there was like sort of rhyming on top of these beats, these fast BPM sort of beats. So you had Dizzy Rascal, Roll Deep. Have you heard of Dizzy Rascal?
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not.
So you had artists like Dizzy Rascal, Kano,
I
Roll
think I've
Deep.
heard of Kano. Yeah.
Yeah, they were quite big then, and now you have Stormzy, you have Dave, yeah, you got Skepta, you still got Dizzy Rascal doing a little bit, but yeah, it's like it moved into like a grime. There was a genre called grime that come about in the mid 2000s. That was pretty that, and that was sort of like a mixture between a bit of garage and hip hop. So two genres kind of mixed a little bit together, and the drums were kind of trappy.
Yeah,
the drums were kind of trappy with a dark melody, with dark riffs, and it's good. It was good. I think you got now. That's still around now, but you've got a bit of drill now. Like the drill scene's quite big. But yeah, I don't mind. I like the grime sound. The grime, I like grime. Grime's good. But yeah, hip hop's still big in UK, like in like American hip hop. It's still really big. Still really big around there.
Yeah, that's like you just talking about that grime, and it just made me start thinking about like they actually got a lot of Machine Expansions kind of had that UK garage type of dance and grime type expansions, and that's what kind of made me think about what you were saying. And then I don't know if you one of the things I've kind of gotten to recently is watching Top Boy on Netflix, and I hear some of that music in the background. And then I was talking to my boy I told you about from work, and he was just telling me about like kind of like you say about the hip hop scene. And I didn't know some of those guys on that show are artists, and so I got to go back and check out some of their music, man, because I like the show. I'm a fan of the show. I just in fact finished season 2 last night, and I'm looking forward to season 3.
Yeah,
and
So Kano's who's Sonny. He's called Sonny. There's a character called Sonny.
Okay. Yeah.
He's that's Kano. Obviously, you know him. And then Asher D is he's an artist as well. Where he used to. I don't think he does much now, but he was a more of a garage. There was a group called So Solid Crew back in 2000 or 2001, one of the two in the UK. They were big garage.
Okay.
The same year as Craig David.
Yeah.
Same sort of time as Craig David. That was really big in the UK. Massive. Wow. Really big.
Man, I remember that era. I must have been around 01 or 2 or 3.
Around that sort of time. Yeah, around similar time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Man. For all of our listeners out there, where can they find you online?
So I've actually finally got a YouTube channel now. It's called 16 Sounds. There's not a lot on there at the minute, but I will be uploading like my sort of workflow on there soon of how I sort of go about making my beats. So I'm going to be putting more videos on there. So that's 16 Sounds YouTube. And then I'm on Instagram, 16 Sounds on there as well. And TikTok. I'm on TikTok as well. I've been on there for about 2 months.
Yeah. We've been on there kind of about the same time because for a couple of years, in fact, when the whole TikTok dance thing was going on. At first, I was like, man, I'm not gonna open a TikTok.
Mm.
And then, time just went on, time went on. I was like, I think it's time to open a TikTok. And I finally went ahead and did it.
The videos seem to reach a lot further than all the other platforms. I don't know why, but
yeah,
you're getting hundreds of views in a matter of hours on TikTok.
Yeah. And engagement, like it seems like there's a lot more engagement on TikTok compared to like Instagram is up and down for me. Like one day I might go in there, I have everybody liking and commenting, and then another day I might go in there and people can't see what I post. And it's just TikTok is kind of giving me new life to be able to network with other guys and get heard more. So one of the things I also, kind of before we end the podcast is, I noticed that, with that all that being said, you're active, on social media. And I think for artists, for producers, that's really important. How has that helped you, just being able to, create? Because I also, even though like, I consider that a form of content as well, like being on Instagram, being on TikTok. How has that helped you grow as a producer?
Well, YouTube is been massive for me, like connecting with a lot of people like yourself and others that I'm sort of talking to. I talk to a lot of people on Instagram, a lot of other producers. But in terms of getting your work out there, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. It's easy to to put your stuff out there. A lot of people can see what you're doing. A lot of artists can see what you're doing. And I don't know, back in the day, I don't know how, it must have been a lot harder without all this technology and all these platforms we have now. So
yeah, it went,
you've been doing this for a long time. So you must, how do you find, how has it changed the way you're connecting with?
It's so like, I can remember, I go back to like, I don't know if you ever got on like SoundClick for producers.
SoundCloud. Is it SoundCloud or?
Well, they got SoundCloud, but they also have another site called SoundClick.
All right.
And at first it was more of a spot for like artists and producers. That was probably around 2008, 2009-ish. And they used to have like forums where you post your beats and you might be able to network with other artists. Sometimes they might create a freestyle using one of your beats, and that might have been a good place even to sell some of your beats. But like from there, I went on to like Facebook was one of the websites that I started to grow as an artist on, and a producer. But that was more so around probably 2010 to probably about 2014 or so. And then from there, kind of like you started getting like your Instagram. And I felt like when I got on Instagram, I started doing those beat making videos actually. And I noticed around that time that I was starting to get a lot of people that were following, and also other guys. I've sold beats to artists that they followed my hashtags and they started networking with me. And till this day, some of them we work regularly. Some of them I've never even stood in the same room with.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I've never stood in the same room with them, and we've made records together. And it's it just kind of allowed me to be able to reach a new audience, because I like when I was on Facebook, that was mainly like a lot of people that I knew personally, people that were from my hometown, people that I've worked with in the past. But I felt like I hit a wall. I hit a wall at one time. I couldn't grow anymore. I wasn't getting heard. People wasn't streaming or listening to what I was posting. And when I got on Instagram, it allowed me to grow more and be able to reach more people. In fact, most of my Instagram are probably people that, I don't know personally. Like we've just kind of grew to knowing each other over the years because some of those people have been following me, since around 2015, 2016. And I continue to, whether it's music production, whether it's my artist music, it allowed me to continue to reach new listeners and also creating new opportunities for me, like performances here locally. And then on top of that, publishing opportunities as well. I don't have a ton of publishing opportunities. I mean, publishing out there, but I've got a couple of gaming placements, music inside of video games.
Wow.
So it's allowed me to be able to meet people on that level, to be able to gain more opportunities, whether it's in like the film and licensing sync, or whether it's working with different artists. And that's kind of actually what I'm discovering here on TikTok and even like Twitter, for example. Like I mainly talk a lot about sports on Twitter, but I post a lot of music production as well. And it's also allowed me to be able to meet other producers and gain, not even talking about other artists or producers as well, but music fans that like a lot of the work that I do. So I think, from creating content, it's kind of all led back to my YouTube and how my YouTube really started to grow, because it all came together during when COVID first started, being locked up in here, because I'd had a YouTube for since probably around 2009, to be real with you. But it's really the last 2-3 years I've been serious as a content creator.
You've done well on that. You've done really well on YouTube.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you've only been doing it for the last few years. I mean, you've got some big numbers on there now.
Thanks, man. It what I kind of want to start doing now is like more live videos.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, even though I have a podcast, when we talk about being live, it's a different vibe. And I don't like to, when I'm live, it's kind of like I'm a very introverted person. So it hits different when you're live than when you do something pre-recorded. So that's my next step in order to grow.
Yeah.
One of the other things I like to ask all the guests that come on the show is if you can give any word of advice to an up-and-coming beat maker or even an artist, as far as something you've seen when you first started compared to now, what would that be?
What I've sort of realized, a lot of people a little bit scared of putting their stuff out.
Yeah.
I used to be. It took me 2 years to get an Instagram for my beats.
Wow.
And then I finally did it, and I've been posting. But put your stuff out. Yeah. Because people do like it. Like there's some stuff that I don't like. I'll be going through my stuff, and people are like, "What? What's that?" I'm like, "Really?" But yeah, put your stuff out. People, don't be afraid to showcase what you got.
Yeah, that's
and keep learning thing as well. I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm still learning as well. Yeah, and you got to put your material out. I always say like your music is not gonna do anything for you if it's just on your computer.
Yeah.
Even if I know a lot of guys that are very talented, but they don't put any of their stuff out. And, they look back, they're a little bit, I'm 40, but I know some people that's older than me that are very talented, and they might have missed out on a ton of opportunities because that music is just sitting on their computer.
for where I live in Stevenage, there are a lot of talented artists in Stevenage. In this town, there's about 95,000 people that live in this town. So it's a town outside the capital, and there's loads of talented artists that don't put enough stuff out. Like they don't, there's so much good stuff around here where I live.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people like to really put their stuff out a lot. So I'll just say people put stuff out because you need that exposure.
Yeah, you got to get that exposure. Even like for producers, one of the things I preach is even if it's coming out with like instrumental albums and beat tapes, put your music out, because a lot of people, like sometimes when I'm at my job, for example, I'll walk into an office and I hear somebody listening to like a boom bap playlist or a lo-fi playlist. It just beats, nothing else. And that's somebody, when I see that and hear that, that's somebody out there, another producer that's making money from streaming, or that's getting discovered as well. So you got to put your material out. It won't do you any good just staying on your computer or your iPad for that matter, because I know a lot of producers do iPad production as well. This has been another episode of the Major Music Lounge podcast, joined by 16 Sounds Beats. Great conversation. Been meaning to catch up with this brother for a very long time.
Thanks for having me on, D. Thanks for having me on.
Man.
Yeah, I've loved it.
No problem. You got any shout outs real quick?
Yeah, shout out Vincenzo Management, Joanne Schickel, Vincenzo. Shout out Stevenage, because this town don't get a lot of recognition. This town where I'm from doesn't get a lot of there's a lot of talented artists in Stevenage, in Hertfordshire. So shout out to everyone doing their stuff in Stevenage. And then shout out to all the producers doing their stuff and putting their stuff out.
Yeah. Man, one of my personal goals is to somehow get out there. I always wanted to go to the UK. Hell, if I even get a chance to perform or be a part of something with music down there, or just go and see some of you guys and get a chance to work. Hell, I'd love to possibly work with you someday, man. So I'll be watching from afar. Like I said at the beginning, I really like what you're doing, so definitely keep it up, brother.
Thank you. Means a lot.
Oh man, no problem, man. This has been another episode of the Major Music Lounge podcast. You can catch new episodes on my YouTube page as well as on all podcast streaming platforms. Again, this has been 16 Sounds Beats. Go ahead, hit him with a follow on social media. Subscribe to him on YouTube. Check him out. And until next time, it's your boy Dee Dot, 16 Sound Beats, and we are out.